Hey there, I'm Jama, and over the past few years, I've become very interested in onomatology, the study of names. I've never really liked my name until I researched the meaning of it. My name means paradigm shifter, and I'd like to shift your paradigm by shining a light on onomatology and how it can potentially help you find your purpose, help you communicate better with others, or even both. In each episode, I ask someone 8 basic questions regarding their first name. So sit back, relax, and try to shift your paradigm with this next episode. All right, in today's episode, I'm excited for this conversation because this person has a name that you typically don't see a female having this name, and I think it's a beautiful name. I'm excited to learn more with her. So, welcome to the podcast, Noah.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you for being here. All right. So, and before I jump into my first question, if you don't mind, just whatever you're comfortable with sharing to the listeners about who you are, where you're podcasting from, and maybe like a fun fact.
Sure. So my name is Noah Mithresh. I'm trying to get better at not introducing myself and tying it directly to my career. So here we go. I'm tuning in from a small town called the Sunshine Coast. It's located off the coast of Vancouver. You have to take a 45-minute ferry ride to get here, but it is a little slice of paradise. So if anyone ever gets the chance to visit here, it is like no place you've ever visited before. So I was very fortunate to be able to grow up here, but for the better part of the last, I'd say 20 years, I've been gone moving around all over North America, if you will. Lived in some pretty random states from Arkansas and then North Dakota, and then across to California and then Connecticut, and then finally found my way back home. I'm the youngest of three. I have two older brothers, which definitely helped shape me into who I am today. Grew up with a very awesome, loving family, and yeah, that's a bit about myself.
Okay, great. And so, would you say you are Canadian, not American, or like a mix of both?
I'm definitely, yeah, born and raised Canadian.
Okay,
On my
awesome.
way
You're the
back to my
second
roots.
Canadian I've interviewed.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. All right, great. So nice to meet you. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and ask the first question, which is before I brought up my podcast to you, did you know the meaning of your name?
Oh gosh, no. I mean, given that it's I know it's biblical,
Mhm.
but I will say that I'm not religious, so I'm probably going to sound daft through a lot of this conversation potentially. But yeah, I have no clue. And how I got it was actually quite a random story. So much
Okay.
like an upcoming
Awesome. I
question.
can't wait to hear that. I will say, like, so do you know what it means, or do you want me to tell you what it means?
Ooh, please just, yeah, we can cut to the chase. You can tell me.
Okay. So yeah, it does have Hebrew roots, same as my name, so pretty cool. And I found that it can mean rest, repose, comfort, consolation. There's also a feminine version where it just takes the H off of it, and
Yeah.
that means motion. And it's the name is tied to themes of salvation, renewal of life, and the rainbow representing God's covenant with humanity. So, with that being said, what are your thoughts about that information?
Letting it sink in a little bit. I would say it resonates with me.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely from the standpoint of, if others were to describe me, I think the solid sort of foundation would be an element of how they would describe me, consistent, um, and always. I've had this before where I've been told like you're very trying to I'm drawing a blank for the word, but more relaxed, I guess, is, for forgetting what I was trying to say there, but
Like laid back, or maybe.
yeah, definitely laid back. There's not a
Okay.
lot that can knock me off my balance, if you will.
Yeah. Awesome. Very good. All right, cool. And do you like the meaning? I take it you do.
I do. Yeah, I think
Okay.
it comes off as a bit more calm, but strong.
I agree, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing to have your name mean comfort. Like, I love comfort foods and people who are comforting in my life, so it's all positive
Mhm.
to me, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, and again, that resonates with me with just feedback over the years of how friends and family have described me. Yeah.
yeah. Awesome. Okay. And how did your parents choose your name? I'm interested in this one.
So you'd think that there would be more of a maybe biblical story behind it. Again, my family's not religious. So I was originally, again, being the youngest of three and having two older brothers, my mom's name's Charlie.
Okay.
And I have another aunt named Ricky, or we often call her Rick. So part of it was okay, maybe the male name runs in the family, but to back up, my originally my parents were going to call me Hayden, which is also somewhat of a masculine or male name.
Yeah.
And when I was born, again, not to make the story not as exciting, but my mom just said she looked at me and said, "No, her name's going to be Noah."
Mm.
I think that fits. And my dad had actually gone out and got a new fishing rod, and it was engraved with Hayden. And he was like, "What do you mean? Like my fishing rod says Hayden." He's like, "Okay, well, we'll make that her middle name." So my name's actually Noah Hayden.
Hmm. Before I continue with this episode, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by the Intentional Leader Network. If you're ready to grow as a leader but don't want to do it alone, this is for you. As a member of this virtual leadership network, I feel more confident in my leadership abilities and have skills I can draw from as I continue to grow in my leadership roles. If you are looking to grow intentionally in your leadership skills, I encourage you to subscribe and grow alongside me and a wonderful community of leaders. To join, check out the link in the show notes and start leading more intentionally today. That's beautiful.
Yeah, which caused a lot of confusion growing up at a young age on paperwork. So
I bet.
yeah.
Well, and I find it so fascinating whenever people tell me that their parents just looked at their child and said, "This name looks like it fits." Like I always
Mhm.
wonder why and like if it's just this gut instinct, this internal like spirit inside of you that kind of confirms it. I don't know. Like I just think that's really interesting.
Yeah, and it was a name that they hadn't spoken about together before. So it was
Okay.
something that definitely came up in the moment for my mom.
Hmm.
I kind of joke, given again that there's some other females in my family that are also carrying like, male names, or typically male names, but also having two older brothers, I'm like, did you just get stuck on the boy names, or like did I look like a boy? I don't know. But no, I've grown to, even at a young age, really love it because it was very unique.
Okay.
It did bring out a reaction in people every time they met me, whether it be kind of that slight confusion of, "Is it Nora? Or did I hear that right?"
Yeah.
Sitting, I remember it was 5th grade, and we had a substitute teacher at school, and she was going through roll call, like attendance, and she asked for Noah Mithrash, and I was like, so I raised my hand, and she goes, "No, Noah," and she thought I was messing with her. So I
Hmm.
almost got in trouble for that until everyone was like, "No, this is Noah," right?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I think it's, the unisex names, and kinda nowadays it's a little bit more common, but,
Yeah.
yeah, back then, not so much, right?
Yeah, for sure. I know people get very much stuck in what they are like born and raised into understanding. And then it just is so hard for sometimes the brain to kind of adjust, you know? And so I get it.
Mhm. But the whether it be confusion or someone just directly going to, wow, that's a really cool name for a female. It definitely stands out, which I have enjoyed.
Yeah, that's good. And like thinking about being a little girl and a teenager and a young woman, have you ever had the thought cross your mind that I wish I had a different name? Or have you just always loved your name?
I don't know why. I like the name Natalie,
Yeah, my daughter's
and I
name is
used to joke
Natalie.
if I was a character, I would always be a Natalie. Um, but I've never wanted to change my name. Again, I love my name. If anything, I for a little bit actually used to call myself Hayden
Okay.
more often,
Okay.
but just for like people I maybe didn't know as well.
Yeah. If you were forced to change your first name, would it be Natalie Hayden or something else?
It's a tough question, but for the sake that I do love both my first and middle name, I would say Hayden.
Yeah. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. And has your name ever been mispronounced? I think you kind of said it has been. And like, if it was mispronounced, what kind of emotions did you feel inside?
Ooh, great question. It has been mispronounced, I think, because people just don't often believe that my name is Noah, in those cases.
Mm,
So the mispronunciation would be Nora, right?
okay.
They jump to Nora, and um, off the top of my mind, if I'm just speaking of what's first coming to recalling those emotions, it would be like no, because I'm very proud of my name. I love my name. Um, that maybe I feel like something's taken away from me, that uniqueness of
Mm,
it, that no, it's not Nora. It is, not a big deal. It's not like it guts me, but
yeah.
yeah, I would say it's something that, yeah, I feel like I lose a little bit of the uniqueness when I hear
Mm,
the Nora.
yeah, for sure. Okay. And this is the second to last question. It's my favorite question. Do you think that the meaning of your name has any relevance on the way that you act or the way that you see the world around you? And if so, how?
Hmm. Well, uh, it has to in some way, shape, or form, because when I look back at my past and how my life has evolved, um, and I'm sure you'll teach me a lot more about it. Uh, but it being somewhat of a strong name, so I've been told I can be somewhat of a strong character. Um, so I think there's definitely a tie there. And if I were to look back, I did end up working at a marina for quite some years when I was in high school and going through university and coming back for the summers, which made it really interesting, wearing a name tag Noah and working at a marina with all the boats coming in. I definitely heard the repeat comment. So there is that. And then I have a natural love for animals. So I know those are maybe a little bit more surface level
Yeah.
examples, but I would have two of every animal if I could.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, my dream when
well,
I was a little girl was always to like own a lot of land and be able to adopt as many animals as I possibly could. So,
interesting.
yeah, and
Wow.
I originally, looking back at a small little journal when they're teaching us how to read and write, I talked about wanting to be a veterinarian. And I changed courses. Obviously, as you know, I'm now in human resource technology, and I've been in that world for a good almost like 13 years, I think.
Nice.
And once my mom told me that I would have to see injured or hurt animals, then I was like, I can't do that. Because
Yeah.
as much as I have a strong name and quite a strong presence to me, I am inside a little teddy bear.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people get to see that side.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really
Mhm.
good that you have that self-awareness. That's really strong.
Yes, I think we all have to do the work to be able to recognize that at some
Yes.
point.
100% agree for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it is interesting because with the 130 people or whatever that I've interviewed, I write down all of the answers in a spreadsheet. I'm HR tech as well. I'm very analytical. And I like to like see trends and I like to understand the data. And I have quite a few theories on the meaning of names. And it's so interesting that like 85, 90% of the people that I've interviewed all say that they believe the meaning of their name has an impact on the way they act or the way that they see the world around them. And like a very small percentage of those people never knew the meaning of their name until I told them, which is so wild to me. So there's
Right.
some
Well, we think
information for
it's
you. What?
definitely, well, we think it's a name that's just given to us at birth, right? It's,
Yeah.
we're given the name. It's not like it's chosen us.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, I was excited when you asked me to come on this podcast so I could learn more about it because I would be lying to myself if I said I was never genuinely just curious, right?
Yeah.
But I had never gone out and researched it myself necessarily. Obviously, it's quite a popular name when it comes to religious backgrounds, but I like, again, not having that be a big part of my world. I just
Yeah.
assumed, okay, that's where that meaning lives.
Yeah.
Um,
When
so
have
yeah,
you ever met anyone with your name? And if so, like, did you like get to know them? Did you have any similarities?
not necessarily. I've crossed paths with quite a few Noahs over the years. Again,
Hmm.
all males. Up until what I was telling you a few weeks ago, I met the first Noah, and she was 3, 4 years old. So that
Okay.
was a cool experience. And it was at a community party here, and she attached herself to me pretty quick. She was very excited
Mhm.
that there was another female Noah that she met.
Yeah.
So her and I colored and played for a good few hours at this party, and it was fun. Um, I enjoyed it, and she just seemed like a very bright energy to me, very happy
Hmm.
energy. Um, Other than that, like I mentioned, a lot of male Noahs over the years who I never really got to know very well. So I
Hmm.
couldn't really say whether I connected over a name
Yeah.
in that way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's interesting, especially when you said how the little girl like kind of was like a magnet to you and she liked the fact that you guys shared the same name. And when I was in high school, I met the first Jama that I found on vacation in Florida. She actually lived in Indiana. I was in Ohio, but we were on vacation. For some reason, we were like at the same resort. And then I found out she had the same name and we just like instantly bonded. And I think
Yeah,
that that's so crazy that like just a name, the same letters can bond somebody.
right.
That's powerful, I think. So,
I agree. And how did you, maybe a little bit of a random question, a side note here, but how did you get into finding out about names and
yeah.
digging into it?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of struggled with my name in terms of people mispronouncing it a lot just because they're not used to seeing those letters in that order. I think a lot of especially people where I'm from, like maybe the name Jamie is more common. And
Hmm.
so, like, obviously, the first day of school and stuff, teachers would always mispronounce it. And people are always like, how do you pronounce that? Or that's a very interesting name. And I actually struggled with that just because I felt like for me, I felt like I shouldn't have to defend my name. I felt like I shouldn't have to um, correct anyone because I thought it was spelled phonetically. J,
Hmm.
ma. And so to me, it was simple, but I needed to do the work to understand that people have all different perspectives. And once I looked up the meaning of my name a few years ago, it really resonated with me. And it was a powerful, pivotal moment in my life as an adult and just really like helped me make sense of things. And so that's why I started to I mean, it helped me create some theories, and I
Mhm.
wanted to create a podcast because I tried to search for one that was like this. I couldn't find one. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to start my own and I'll collect the data and see if I can prove some of my theories to be correct. So,
Very cool. And so the career that you found yourself in, right? Like we both share that we're in HR tech, and you
yeah.
mentioned analytical, and hey, you're also a builder to some extent,
Yes,
right? You're building podcast, and that's entrepreneurial in a way. Does that tie back to the meaning of your name?
it does. Like, so my name means paradigm shifter. And so
Ooh,
I,
that's good.
thanks.
I
I
love
like
that.
it. I do. Because yeah, I always try to zoom out, look at the forest, the big picture. And
Mm-hmm.
I literally, my brain is so analytical. I look at every single perspective from every single angle. And I think that that definitely helps me like try to see the end in mind and try to approach things from that perspective. And it's helped me create this podcast. It's helped me build my network and meet people, great people like you. So it's been a good thing to tie the meaning of my name into something that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, thank you. I just have one more question for you.
Okay, hit me.
So, and like honestly, I've asked people from all different perspectives. So I'm very curious about your opinion. So when I started this podcast, I wanted to know what are books saying about the meaning of names.
Mm-hmm.
And the best-selling book of all time happens to be the Bible. It talks a lot about different people's names being changed throughout the Bible. And just a few examples, like in Genesis, the first book of the Bible, it says that God told Abram that his name was going to be changed to Abraham and that he was to change his wife's name, Sarai, to Sarah. And so I'm just curious, like, what is your opinion about what do you think the significance is of that being mentioned, that the names needed to be changed versus just starting with the new name
Like, what is the significance of the
of a
name
name
being
being
changed?
changed? Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if this is something that's coming to my mind again, without trying to make myself sound too daft, because I haven't read the Bible. I grew up in a very uh, non-religious family. My mom was very much a more of like a hippie type, if you will, where she's just like, I just want the kids to be able to do what they want, feel how they feel.
yeah,
Um, but where I do go is my my background is First Nations, Polish, Scottish, Ukrainian. And
okay,
originally when my great-grandparents migrated over from the Ukraine, on the my dad's side, so the Mithrash side, the name was Mithrashi, and they changed it when they came over to Canada, just for the sake that they couldn't spell it, right? It
okay.
didn't it it was hard to spell in the way that it sounded. So that's maybe what comes to my mind, but I do realize I'm very aware that that's being pulled from my past, right? So I think
Mhm.
that's in a lot of ways how our lives are shaped and how we see the world is from our lived experiences and our environment. So that's what comes to my mind, but not to say that that is the actual reason.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Okay,
Mhm.
awesome. Those were all my questions. Did you have any questions for me?
Having met me now and just having a conversation for the last 30 minutes, do
Yeah,
you find that my name and who you've experienced talking with today, there's a correlation or it fits?
absolutely. Like it's so interesting because I've gotten to meet a lot of people through this.
Mhm.
And I mean, I do tend to like, I am always going to be my authentic self, but the energy that you give is very like soothing and comforting. And I've kind of found myself in terms of mirroring you, like feeling like just very comforted. I know that sounds weird, but
You're freaking me out here. No, I'm joking. No, that's an amazing compliment, and, Um, I will say that is a common piece of feedback is that I have a calming energy about
Yeah.
me, and I'm like, "Oh, man, if anybody just, like, knew what was going on in my head, they might not say that," but,
Yeah.
it's good to know that I can have that, effect on people,
Yeah.
especially through a camera, which is interesting.
Yes. But I will say you do have a strength about you because I have a friend who is a massage therapist and in her line of work and especially her name, I won't mention her name, but she is very calming. And not to say that she's not strong, but I think your name, there is a strength in it. And especially a very famous person who held that name. Like what a project that person took on and what kind of faith that person had and knowing that like I mean I believe that we all came from that lineage and I don't know it's yeah there's like a comfort slash equally like a really high strength in the way that you speak and hold yourself and I think that those are two great complementary qualities so
Oh, well, I appreciate that, and
yeah.
I appreciate you, helping me dig in a bit more and understand it. I think that's something that, I didn't realize I needed or wanted.
Hmm, that's awesome. That's the whole point of this. So I'm glad.
Wonderful.
All
Jema,
right.
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I'll turn off the recording. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe or follow the podcast on your favorite platform. Your support helps me continue bringing you meaningful conversations with remarkable guests. Don't forget to tune in next time for more insightful discussions and inspiring stories. Until then, thank you for listening and keep striving to make a positive impact wherever you are. And don't forget to tap into the meaning of your own name to find a deeper sense of confidence in your purpose.